wanted to let you know that we're looking forward to some great ideas here and some things that'll help you move forward with our program as we go a little bit farther down the line. So should be able to see Aaron's screen now, which talks about this being our December 2013 user group meeting. And again, we've got everybody in lecture mode so that we can record this. When we get a little closer to the end, we will unmute everybody. You do want to hit that 2-digit PIN code with a pound sign so that we'll be able to unmute you and everybody can interact. We plan on turning a portion of this over to you folks to interact with each other on what it is that that you want to talk about. So be prepared for that. And that said, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Aaron, flip that first slide over. Okay. Okay. One of the things that we definitely want to make sure that everybody is looking at as they're out having conversations with folks is capturing what we're calling this this low-hanging fruit, the CI opportunities. There are so many things happening out there that are pushing us towards this market segment and pushing this market segment toward us, okay? And never underestimate the value of a single conversation. I was talking to an agent that I work with routinely in New York, and he related to me that last year, the very early part actually of this year, he had a single conversation for about an hour and a half with someone on an airplane, exchanged business cards, etc. And lo and behold, 10 months later, that individual contacted him from that brief conversation and that business card and wanted to talk to him about that agent's primary line of business. Okay, conversations that you have now can pay off. They definitely can pay off. Keep that in mind and have conversations about critical illness. We've told you about it. We've given you some of that information. Be doing that. We're going to spend some time a little bit later and look at what we call the online marketing funnel. It's a really compelling visual piece that Aaron developed, and we're really excited about what it has already done so far. And we believe it's something that you can deploy the different techniques and the pieces involved with it and make more out of this opportunity as we go forward. And then as you can see here, we will also open up at the end with the open forum. So let's go ahead and move forward, Aaron. Okay. Also going to talk a little bit about the LTCI 4 Tips Guide piece, and then Autopilot, and update you on where the blog is going as we move through the remainder of the holiday season and just around the corner into the beginning of 2014. So, all right, go ahead.
So actually, I think what we want to do here is check in
on those things. You're right. Okay, right. All right. So, Jonas, the 4 Tips Guide is really your thing. So, let's. I guess first of all, we want to ask by show of hands who has utilized. I'm looking at the little hand holding your hand thing up. So now, who's utilized the long-term care 4 Tips Guide that we made available last time? Let's see by show of hands. Okay, well, what do we got? 4 or so. So, all right, well, let's do a quick check-in here and see. Ron Lewis, you're unmuted. Tell us about your experience with that. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I just have a link to that in my signature on my emails.
Okay.
So, to be honest with you, I haven't really had any response on that yet, but I have been using it.
Okay.
But I have other links on my signature as well, and I don't get that much of a response either. So
okay.
It's not necessarily the 4 Tips Guide that's not getting the response.
I'm with you. Well, you're in the small minority in terms of even deploying it, so that's a step in the right direction. Doug Shields, you're unmuted now. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with it and what you're seeing from it. Takes it a second to unmute, apparently. Doug?
So that,
There you go.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
there we
somehow
go.
I missed who you said there, because it was saying unmuted at the same time you were talking, so I didn't hear you.
Right.
I've just put it as a link on the email and also on a couple other deals, and it's, I haven't had any response at all. I haven't actually ordered any guides or anything like that. It just linked to the free offer of the guide.
Okay. Well, again, you're in the small minority using it, so that's good. Glenn Harrington, I know you're out there. We'd like to get your experience, but you didn't key in the 2-digit code, and so I can't unmute your phone. So, I mean, I guess for the great majority of you on the call that are out there that did not, and were on the call last time, I guess you want to think about why not, okay? And without getting into items remedial, I mean, we're putting these things out there as part of, we're building this structure to help everybody. And
Let me ask a quick question, Mike.
sure, fire away.
Is there anybody out there who wanted to use the guide, the LTCI guide, but either had trouble or wasn't sure where to go or wasn't able to get it in place? If you wanted to use it but couldn't for some reason, could you just raise your hand and we could see if there's something kind of getting in the way?
Yeah, please do. I cleared the hands from the other questions. So looks like Yvonne raised her hand there. So let's unmute her and see what you can tell us. Go ahead, Yvonne.
I just wasn't able to get in and find it, so I was hoping that you were going to go over that this time, but if not, I can contact you directly and have you walk me through it.
Were you on the users group call last month, Yvonne?
No.
Okay. Okay. So that's probably where the problem was. We went over how to get it then, and it's on the LinkedIn group. So have you joined the Connected Agent LinkedIn group yet?
This is my first time.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
We'll
help you keep going with that.
Yeah. Also got a question from Jeff Olson. So let's get Jeff unmuted and we'll see what it was that he was running into. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I'm not really running into a problem. I'm similar to the other call. I'm kind of getting done with AEP and kind of getting back into the swing with it. So I'm trying to catch up here.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Mike and Aaron, can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
It's Jonas. Hey, I just wanted to say something real quick before we change gears, because we're talking about the 4 quick tips, and I heard a number you say that you're using it possibly in your signature line along with other links in there. Just a word of caution, if you put too many things to respond to, you're going to lower the chances of getting a response. I would say not have more than one thing in your email signature line. Now, it doesn't mean you can't change it every month. I think every week is a little too quick to kind of build some momentum, but I would do less is more, one focused call to action. But also another great place to utilize these, and the only reason I'm jumping in right now and talking about it is I worked with a producer last week. His name's Bob Bates. And his web address, if you guys want to look at, or maybe Mike, if you want to pull it up, it's bobbatesinsurance.com. He's a Connected Agent subscriber. And what he did is he took the 4 quick tips and put it in the rotator of his Connected Agent page. And so as we're talking about the 4 quick tips and we're talking about guides and things along those lines, these are great proprietary educational pieces that we offer through the program. So utilizing them up front and center, like in the rotator, you'll see, you should be seeing his rotate through. I think it was the first there it is. It shows right up front and center. So great idea within your websites. Understand you may need some help or had some challenges getting it there, but bringing the 4 quick tips guide, the CI guide, some of these other guides we're putting up front and center, requesting get free guide here. Remember, they're downloading it off your website, creating a possible lead for you. But let's get it up front and center like this. I thought Bob Bates did a great job pushing it up here, and just wanted to bring note to that way and everyone talking about the 4 quick tips.
Good idea. Thank you.
The other thing to think about is that, like in Bob's case here, if you go to the page with the guide, here's the guide right here. This stays on his website. And so once you've got this on your site, if you go out and share these links, you might see that over time it keeps working for you. You might not get a flood the first day, but it stays there. And so it might be a trickling in of a couple of months. And if you do enough of these different campaigns, it has a cumulative effect of adding up. So we have the different guides that we're putting out there and adding them to your website. They'll be there forever. So you should keep seeing some benefit over time.
And you'll notice with how Aaron went to that section on Bob's website, that's the link that you'd want to put in your email signature. You'd want to hyperlink it so it's not that long, and we can help you with those types of things on user group calls or if you're calling in. But that's what you'd want to say, click here for my 4 quick tips guide. Something that short that phrase is hyperlinked to that longer link, and then when they click it, it drives to your website, enabling you to capture their name and address in the fields that are below when they download. And this is just another easy way to push traffic towards what's becoming your new online digital platform for marketing and, once again, capturing data, becoming somewhat of a CRM for you moving forward.
Let's talk about the Autopilot blog. So we continue to post to the blog twice a month, and we did a few posts. The last 2, if you've noticed, we went a little bit, I don't want to say off topic, but we went a little bit more general interest. And actually, I'll go back to Bob's site and see if we can get it working here. Oops. I forgot to escape out of PowerPoint. Okay, do we see Bob's site?
Right there,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, great. So Bob, if you're on the call right now, thanks for letting us use your site as our demo today. So the last 2 posts, we did these more general interest. An article about coffee. It's sort of a viewing in on, is coffee bad for you? And if you've taken a look at this, we don't really end up with an answer. We kind of weigh the pros and cons of some recent research on coffee and caffeine, which is not obviously related to any specific insurance product, but it's more general interest. And this is something that you can go out and share with people that's going to catch their interest and drive them back to your site, because it's a question I think we all, especially if we're like I am here in Seattle, where we're kind of in the coffee capital, we wonder about this. Is coffee bad for you? I don't really know. And so this is a great article to go out and share that might get some more clicks than a product-specific article like the LTCI 4 Tips Guide. And so let's just use the hands again. Raise your hand if you've taken a look at the most recent blog posts on coffee, and there's one on drinking water. Mike, let me know if you see any hands come up.
I'm looking right now. Hang on. Okay, yeah, we've got a couple here. Brian, we're going to go ahead and unmute Brian Gruss and let Brian talk to us a little bit about that. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Brian, what was your thought on these blog posts?
I just like the concept of posting a little bit about general interest instead of just about insurance. I think people don't always want to talk about insurance. It just allows them to kind of get some extra comments out there.
Did you share these at all with anybody?
I did. I shared them on either Facebook or LinkedIn. I can't remember which one.
Okay, fantastic. Do you know if there was any click-throughs or any activity that was caused by them?
To be honest, I don't know how to see if there was click-throughs. I didn't get any personal feedback.
Okay. But we know that it's a good way to kind of get a different message in front of people, so you're not just pushing parts all the time. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that you saw them and that you used them and shared them. So good job. Bravo.
Thank you.
Any other?
And we've also got Doug Shields, so we'll go ahead and unmute Doug again. And let him talk a little bit about his experience. While that's happening, for those of you that are joining us after missing a couple of user group meetings, keep in mind we've recorded everything. These assets are available to you. You can go to them and listen online and see the presentations and get yourself brought back up to speed. We don't have the luxury of having each call going back to point one and moving everything forward. So if for some reason you have a conflict, and we're trying to set the schedule very consistently in terms of time, date, et cetera, but if you have a conflict for some reason, you can always go back, and we'll have Travis give the site here in a minute where you can go get them, but you can go and go through those archived webinars that we've done up till now to where you are current. So that said, Doug, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I haven't shared these. I've shared the previous articles, and I have not done it yet on this one. I've kind of let the stuff go to the side, not on purpose, just didn't do it. I have been wondering whether I could share it on, like there's a sports blog that I post to and things like that, if it'd be a good idea to share on those types of situations as well. It seems like it would be, that if you want to get your name out as far-reaching as you can, that maybe that's not on point. I don't know.
I think that anytime you can get it in front of people who are potential prospects, I would do it.
Okay.
So share away. There's also a hidden benefit to sharing these links. And if you can think about some places, maybe you have a community resource or a newsletter or a church or a club that you belong to, that they might be interested in these more general topics. And so think a little bit outside the box in terms of how you share them. And what's really nice about getting these links out there on the web is those links back to your site, not only do they drive people to your site, they are, you'll see as we talk more about search engines later on, they become really important sort of votes of confidence that search engines like Bing and Google use to see how much authority your website has. And so not only will you get people coming to your site from those links, you'll also see that your site will move up in the search results because of these links. So I'd say if you have a chance to share, I would share.
Thanks.
So, great, thank you. Should we go back to the presentation and move on?
Yeah, I know Glenn Harrington had his hand up there, but he said he sent me a note and said he's in an area with a lot of noise in the background, and so he doesn't want to unmute and have that become a problem, and we do appreciate that. So a little bit more about low-hanging fruit for CI and opportunities. Go ahead, Aaron.
Actually, this is Jonas.
This is me. Well, Aaron, can you hear me? Just want to make sure, as I've been bouncing back and forth from mute. Okay, great. Hey, folks. So I just wanted to, once again, when you have these guides or anything that's of content that's educational, it's a great way to create access into what I'd like to call strategic partnerships or spheres of influence, where you're able to come talk to people and provide them something that isn't sales-oriented. Doesn't mean a sale can't be generated from it, but from an education standpoint, it's a lot easier to, say, open doors that weren't opened up, to you before, or ones you just didn't realize you had an opportunity to get to. So we put an emphasis on the CI opportunity in the slide that we're going to come to next. We're not quite there yet. I'm going to show you a couple assets that we created last week. They're going to be uploaded this week that you can use to, once again, start marketing the CI educational guide in some areas that you may have not put your face to before, and now you're able to put your brand with your website and strategically offer an education piece. So, when I say identify strategic places and spheres of influence, it is that simple. Is it your local nickel paper? You may have put an ad in that before, but the ad may have said, get information on long-term care insurance from me or something like that, or long-term care specialist, life insurance specialist. Well, that's not offering, saying, go to bobbatesinsurance.com to get my free guide on critical illness insurance and how it protects how it can protect your finances. Something along those lines. Now that you guys are able to offer this educational component, you can drive people from these spheres to your website, capture their data there, and start working them as a lead opportunity. So think of that. Think of your church, possibly, the gym that you work out at, maybe a service group you belong to, or one that you've spoken at before. Libraries are a great place where they let you, most of the time, if you're providing it free, and remember it's free because it's a free download. You don't have to send them the actual book. But you're providing a free educational resource. They'll put you up in their resource center section on their website, creating more backlinks to your webpage. Local papers, associations. Once again, you'll see in the next slide coming up, not quite there yet though, some more components we've kind of put together to kind of support the campaign. So if you happen to belong to an association, or maybe your gym lets you put something up on a bulletin board there, we now have a poster where you're able to order, put your picture on it, and put times and dates on it to give somewhat of a group talk on critical illness and how it can support protecting your finances, critical illness insurance. Once again, offering a guide to anyone that shows up. It's going to be downloaded, so there isn't a cost involved, no postage. You are able to order them in a hard copy form if you kind of wanted to show one, or maybe sometimes the associations really do want to have something for participants, so it might be worth the expense of, I believe it's a little over $1 per guide to actually have the hard copy version with your information on it. Have the real life thing there. You might create more people showing up and a more value add as they leave, and it could possibly be passed on to someone else. But this is a great way to maximize who you are with that brand in a sphere of influence. So really supporting your brand now, your website, your marketing platform, the Connected Agent platform is an extension of your brand. So you want to have it everywhere, and this is a great way of starting posting it in these places, trying to think of who do I know, where do I have access to lists, where can I talk to people, where would they be interested in getting free education versus being talked about the need to purchase something. This really, once again, creates another opportunity. As we move into the next slide, you're going to see a couple of the marketing assets that we've created just to support the CI brand. So what you're seeing on your left is a poster. It's 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17, done in a way that you can order some with your image at the bottom and your phone, and obviously it won't say agent name and just say your name, your contact information down there. But the reason the date, place, and time is blank is that way you can order a couple dozen if you want, and you can just write it in. These are things that you can post strategically within your community. You might be giving a free seminar at a library, and this is something that you could possibly put at your gym because you're a member there or somewhere else along those lines, driving attendance to that. What you see in the middle is actually a bookmark. They're inexpensive. They're easy to produce. Once again, showing a thumbnail image of the guide, letting people know they can receive a free copy. If you happen to be doing any kind of group talk, any seminars, anything in areas where you have a table set up, this is a real inexpensive piece. I'm talking pennies. So you can have hundreds of them at no cost. And people want something, you're handing them, hey, here's my bookmark. It's got my website on it. Go download my guide. So now, instead of walking away with your business card, they're walking away with something like your business card, promoting your guide and your website, and then they can use it in conjunction with the guide if they ever get a hard copy version of it. And to the far right, what you're seeing is an image of an ad that can be used in print and online. So if you, once again, have a sphere of influence, they have a website, they have a monthly newsletter, we're able to provide you this ad with your contact information in it. When they go to the website, once again, driving to your website to download the guide. We're still refining, I believe, the copy a little bit on the ad, but you can see that it's, once again, the responder knows they're going to get a guide. They know that's going to help them plan with their finances in case something comes up regarding with a critical illness. And all in all, they're feeling that they're downloading something educational and not going to be bombarded with a bunch of sales. And once we know people are educated, the sales do follow if they're financially qualified and health qualified. So, part of this campaign, again, part of the Connected Agent platform is not only having the digital assets and placing you out in the digital world now so you can be found. It's also creating some of the other pieces of the campaign that you can use locally that are hard copy assets that will also push traffic in that way. And just before we jump to the next slide, still you want to remember that you want to put your website everywhere you possibly can. Again, moving forward, make sure you've updated your signature line in your own email to make sure it has that website. Have you ordered your new business cards with the website on it since you now have one and you're handing them out all the time? Is it possibly on every slide that you use in a presentation? You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner of ours right now it says connectedagent.biz. You want to make sure that it just becomes an extension of everything and anything that you do regarding marketing and education. Back to you, Aaron, unless there's any questions.
So we will post these, the files. Are they posted on AIM Producer, Jonas? Is that where they'll be available?
We're going to have them up on aimproducer.com, and I believe you can also get to that from whyaim.com. And this is the same place where there's other materials that you can personalize. Another great piece that goes along with this item or campaign, so to say, is we make a tabletop display. And the tabletop display has cards in it that allows a viewer to select a card and then call her and back in to get the book. And it has a very nice tabletop display. And it's a great piece to use with a physician. One place I would say to start your sphere of influence, everyone on the phone has a physician, and I would go to them first and foremost and say, listen, I have a free guide on how to survive critical illness financially. We all know that you're the first line of defense, being a physician. This doesn't sell insurance. Would you mind if I put this display in your office? And please feel free to look at the guide, and do you think it's suitable for the rest of your your patients? You would be surprised, and especially with using some of the front talk, since critical illness was created, I believe Mike can fill in here, by a physician. I believe it was a forethought of a physician that helped launch that product. So it's a great way to make a strategic partnership, business partnership, so to say. I mean, you're not giving any kinds of fees back from doing it, but making a partnership with the physician and then maybe asking him for a referral to another. Pretty soon you can be in a bunch of physicians' offices across your state or city getting referrals as people are waiting for their appointment because they're reading the guide there.
Yep. Let me jump in real quick. What Jonas said is correct. This critical illness concept was developed by a gentleman named Marius Bernard, very well-known outside the United States surgeon in South Africa. In fact, his brother Christian, it's actually pronounced Barnard, did the first human-to-human heart transplant back in the late 60s, and his brother was part of the team. And what he began to observe, or what he did observe, was that his clients were surviving these catastrophic illness situations, but the financial and emotional stress of the survival and the monetary consequences that came with that were making it really, really difficult for them to work on their recovery. And he felt as though it was incumbent upon himself to develop a way for them to have some resources to do that. So that's the nutshell version of CI, but it's a great intro story if you're going to attempt to, like Jonas said, if you're going to take this into your primary care physician and ask him to put this in place, or your cardiologist. That's a great intro story right there. This is a product that was developed by a doctor. Go ahead, Aaron.
So just really quickly, I'm going to show people where you go to get those assets that Jonas was talking about, where they're going to be posted. So I'm on whyaim.com, the AIM website, and you can log in at the top by putting in your email address and password. If you don't have a password, give us a call, and we'll make sure you're set up with one. If I'll just log in, I have a sample agent password. And once I'm logged in, it takes me to the whyaim agent dashboard, which is right here. And there's a lot of stuff here. It's definitely worth getting a login and spending some time here if you don't already have one. You will find those materials just by scrolling down the home page. You look for this link to AIM Producer. And what you want to do is, rather than going to aimproducer.com directly, log in here, because if you could log in through here, what we're able to do is actually just sign you in automatically. So if I click on this link, it's going to redirect me. It logs me in and redirects me straight to AIM Producer. And so once here, you'll see I'm able to get all those materials that Jonas was talking about. So go to the AIM website, log into the dashboard, and then click on that banner to AIM Producer, and you'll be able to get all of this stuff. There's tons of great things here, and so do spend some time and kind of get to know what's available and take advantage of it. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation and jump into our last topic, which is the online marketing funnel. And this is a graphic or a sort of a diagram that we've spent some time developing to try to explain how selling insurance online works. And so if you haven't seen it already, you can go visit whyaim.com/funnel, and we'll be promoting it more and more as time goes on. So you'll get lots of chances to see it and learn from it. But let me just jump over there and give you kind of the quick overview of what you'll find at whyaim.com/funnel, which is right here. So this is the online insurance marketing funnel. And at the top of the page, we have a 16-slide presentation, a walkthrough that you can go through at your own pace and spend some time going through here, because we walk through the funnel and explain all of the steps. And so it's a chance for you to kind of get an introduction. And then if you scroll down the page, you'll see that we actually have this graphic, this infographic, that's going to take you through the entire funnel of selling insurance online. And so you'll see we've got the 5 stages: stage 1, website visitor; stage 2, lead; stage 3, prospect; stage 4, engage prospect; and then stage 5 is a customer. And then we go through a case study, and we show you kind of an example of how this works. And so definitely do come here and spend some time reading through this case study, because that will give you a sense of how all these pieces connect together, how social media works, how referrals work, how having calls to action on your website, how it all ties together to create this very structured chain of events that results in developing leads and sales. And so go there when you get a chance, whyaim.com/funnel. Spend some time reading through this graphic, this diagram, to get to know the process and how it all flows together. Today I want to talk about just really this first stage, which is stage 0. And stage 0 is the process of getting people out on the web into stage 1, which is a website visitor. And so you have the masses out on the web, people on Facebook and Google and searching around, doing things online and doing things offline. And you have the challenge as a website owner to get them to your site. And so there are 5 strategies, 5 different ways that you can do this. And the one that we hear so much about is search engine optimization, that people go to Google or Bing and they type in long-term care insurance, and they magically end up your website, and they go from a complete stranger to somebody who's a prospect. And search engine optimization, when it works, is great. We've been pushing back on that. We've got a lot of requests to talk about search engine optimization. We've been pushing back on that because it's not where you start. It's not step 1. It's the last of these 5 that come together. It takes time. It's technical. It takes a lot of work. Now, you will see behind the scenes that it will begin to come together just naturally. And so that's why we don't need to worry too much about it. In fact, I've started to get people coming to my demo site, WeInsureSeattle.com, for critical illness, because if you search for critical illness insurance Seattle, it dominates the first page results. And that's just because of the way the site's built. And you should start to see some similar things happening with your website just naturally over time. And so search engine optimization, we're really pushing back. Don't worry about it right now. It takes time. It's technical. You have the least control over that. The other 4 are the ones that you really can influence directly. And you'll see that there's a very literal connection between the effort you put into these and the results that you get out. So I'm just going to walk through these other 4 strategies briefly, let you know what they are, just to kind of get them planted in your head. So the second after search engine optimization is pay-per-click advertising. And this is really the simple process of paying another website to send traffic your way. And you pay every time somebody clicks through. And you certainly see those ads on Google. You see them on LinkedIn. The sponsored updates on LinkedIn, if you're doing those, is an example of pay-per-click advertising. And so the way this works is you set a budget of how much you want to spend on traffic, and you bid how much you'll pay per click, and you go create ads that drive traffic back to your site. Our recommendation right now is if you want to invest some money in traffic, do it on sponsored updates on LinkedIn. Don't spend too much time on pay-per-click advertising on Google or Bing, simply because it's a very large, untargeted market. You really can't focus on your region very specifically, and you're also competing in those channels with the lead vendors who they're able to sell a lead multiple times, and so they can bid a lot higher than you'll want to bid on pay-per-click advertising. So if you want to do pay-per-click advertising, it's a great way to get some quick traffic. Focus on LinkedIn sponsored updates. We talked about those a bit, I think 2 user groups ago, and so go back and watch that webinar again, and that will give you some information on how to do that. The third is social networks. This is things like Facebook, things like Twitter, also sharing content on LinkedIn. And the blog content that we're giving you and the guides, the landing pages, are great things to share on social networks. And what you're able to do there is share your content out to all of your contacts, and then also request for them to share it out to their contacts to get in front of these people and have them click through to your website. So, Doug, I think it was your example. You've shared some of the articles on social networks, and that's a great way to go out and get people to see your content, remember that you exist, but then also click through and come back to your website. And so you'll see a very literal, very incremental way to get traffic by sharing content out, people click through back to your site. The fourth way is website referrals, and these are links on other websites. So if you're part of a community organization or a chamber of commerce, or if you have somebody you refer contacts to, so maybe there's a realtor you work with and an accountant you work with, getting linked on their website, and then vice versa. People come from their site will click through to yours, and so that's a way to get traffic to your site. Website referrals are a great thing to focus on to go and build those, because you're getting people that come from a trusted source. So they've gone to their accountant, they trust their accountant. If their accountant links to your site, they're going to come to you trusting you as well. And so I really recommend thinking about who you know that has a website and reaching out to them and asking for a link back to your site, and be very, very generous in reciprocating, so giving them links back to their site from yours. And then the fifth one is marketing, and I speak very generally about marketing. This could be email marketing, it could be offline marketing, it could be the posters and the bookmarks that Jonas was talking about, it could be direct mail, it could be skywriting or a billboard, but really anything else that you're going to do outside of the web or outside of the web browser that can drive people back to your site. And so there's a lot of opportunity there, and I recommend not to forget about it, that people do go from offline to online. If you give them that bookmark and it has your address on it, they're going to bring it back to their computer, and when they have some time, they'll come to your site. So think about opportunities to get your website address out in the real world, in the physical world, whether it's on your business card or those bookmarks or your letterhead or really anywhere you can think of. So those are the 5 strategies, 5 ways to get people to your site. Spend some time just thinking about each of these, and I really think it's important to balance out, to make sure that you're thinking about all of them and not really just focusing on one, because they all are effective, they all work, and if you put them together, you'll see a much bigger result. So with that, Mike, I'm going to pass it back to you. I think we're opening up.
Okay, a couple things, and then we'll get into the open forum piece of the puzzle. We talked about this the last time we got together. If you are not on LinkedIn and you haven't requested to join the Connected Agents group, please do so. Another way for us to get information out to you and to stay in contact with you, and it sounds like some folks have missed that along the way. If you've got questions, you can call us offline, and we can walk you to that. Now we're going to start on muting people. Schuler and Bell Anderson, you did not engage your PIN code for audio, and that will make it very difficult for us to have you involved in the next portion of what we're doing. Same with Riggs. everybody else, we're getting them unmuted now so that we can move forward with doing that. What we want to do now is we want to find out from you going forward what you want us to bring to you in these user group meetings. We brought you what we felt was some pretty good, we have brought you a lot of pretty good stuff along the way. The response to it hasn't been, frankly, what we anticipated. So keeping in mind that we've got a lot of people on the call and a lot of people unmuted, jump in and let us know what we can do to help this be more. Graham Riggs also not able to unmute you as a result, and Birkenkoff as well, as a result of not having the PIN code entered in. All right, we got Bell Anderson and we got Schuler in play now. So let's go from there. Who wants to go first?
Mike, this is Bonnie. Can you hear me?
I can, Bonnie. Thank you, and go ahead.
I guess the biggest thing I'm doing is I'm doing my business plan for next year. Do you have like an outline of, I'm needing like a track to run on. Like, what should I do first? What should I do second?
We could probably work together and develop something like that. It would be, you know, not specific to this. We'll incorporate a lot of these things into it. Biggest thing, which you and I talked about when we started this, is to make sure that you've got your lists of your clients pulled together, got your email addresses, because so much of what we're going to try to do with them is going to get information in front of them initially by email. So, but go ahead and give me a call offline after we're finished, and we can start talking about that. So, and I know many of the others of you are probably in the same exact situation. Call your AIM marketer here, talk to them about going forward in 2014. How, you know, what it is that we can do to help you incorporate Connected Agent into what you have going on, and we can get that taken care of. Other questions? Bill, I know you're out there, Bill Schuler. I know you spent some time looking at this and thinking about this. What can we do to help you make this more workable and usable?
Well, coming from a guy who's never been on LinkedIn, Facebook, never tweeted, you know, I guess it's just, you know, the overview you gave just a few minutes ago about where you start with, you know, internet marketing, that was good. I don't know if you've gone over that before, but it was just, I've never used any social media, so it's hard to, I don't know. What I'm going to do next year is I'm going to hire somebody a couple hours a week to come in and run my social media, because I really have no interest in doing it. And so hire a young guy that wants to do it, wants the experience, and can do it for me. So
I would also point out that the funnel that Aaron showed us a few minutes ago, that's pretty much of a case study that walks you right through the steps. Do this first, do this second, do this third. But you got to take the time to do the starting elements. Get on LinkedIn. Get out there and get access to our Connected Agent group within that framework as we start to move information out there. We, again, recommend you get on Twitter. We're going to start to push information out to you that way. You'll start pushing information out that way. I mean, we know that it's what I guess you would categorize as outside the comfort zone, but when you started this process with a website, that probably was as well. Trust us, put the time in. These things, for the most part, are 3-minute elements, 3-minute evolutions. Put the time in and do this, and be with us step by step. That at least eliminates questions about that when we start to evaluate what's working and what isn't working for you. So, but thanks for that. Other questions out there? I know Diane's got her hand up, but no PIN code entry there, so let me see what we got question-wise here. Oh, okay. Just for the record, the next user group will be scheduled for January 8th, which is a Wednesday. As we're going back to our second Wednesday of the month protocol that we've always used, 9 a.m. That came up. So, all right. Anybody else out there with questions?
I have a question, Mike.
Okay, go ahead. Who is this?
This is Ron.
All right, Ron, go ahead.
You know, we've gone over this a little in the past.
What frequency do you recommend to put things on LinkedIn, like either blog posts or just general information, without spamming people? It's kind of a fine line there, I think.
Good question. Aaron, I know you've really got some thoughts about that, and Aaron's thoughts really are more about the frequency of insurance-related stuff as opposed to more generic stuff. But run them through your kind of protocol there, Aaron.
Yeah, so I think right now most people aren't really running the risk of spamming on LinkedIn in our group,
Right.
unless you're posting several things a day. And if you are, let us know. I'd like to hear about it and hear what you're posting. But I think it's kind of the opposite problem, is that people aren't doing enough. And so I'd start by just picking up the pace a little bit. We're trying to give you these blog posts like the ones I showed you today to kind of balance the topic so that we're not always promoting an insurance product. So you have some more general interest stuff to share. And when you do that, that's going to help people think about you as somebody who's helpful and not just pushing your agenda. And you always want to hear from somebody who's helpful. So that will help kind of keep you from being viewed as spamming or selling too hard. So I guess my thoughts are, I wouldn't worry too much about this right now. I'd focus on getting more content out there, and then take advantage of some of the non-insurance general interest stuff that we're sharing and share that out, because that's going to keep you from looking like you're too self-focused in your communications.
Right. Okay. So like maybe once or twice a week of like a new topic that's not like a selling type topic necessarily, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once or twice a week is absolutely okay. Even once or twice a day is okay if you're not just focusing on pushing products.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions out there? Okay. Well, then I guess we'll kind of bring this one to a conclusion. Again, we're on the docket for January 8th, 9 a.m. Pacific time for our next user group meeting. In the meantime, we're always available if you've got questions on technical pieces along the way. We'll be pulling together some new additional things for you here as we round the corner into 2014, and we want to position everybody to make the most of that. Jonas, Aaron, anything else you gentlemen want to say by way of closing?
I don't have anything. I'm calling a handful of you over the next couple of weeks. I'll give you a break during the holidays, looking to help support moving some of these activities out one-on-one, using some of the canned steps. So look forward for the call and have a holiday.
Nothing more from me.
Okay. All right. We'll let it go. Sounds like somebody's got a bird in the background that needs to be fed. So, all right, everybody, we appreciate you making your time available to us here today. We will catch up with everybody. If not sooner, we'll catch up on January 8th. Thanks. Be safe. Have a great holiday season. Take care now.
Thank you all.